During this crisis, we certainly have a greater perspective of who our employees are. And I've always categorized employees into three levels. Whether fair or unfair, just bear with me and think about your own team as I describe this. Now, the crisis has really prompted change. It's changed people's career paths, changed their motivation levels. It's changed a lot of things. So think about your employees in the following three categories. The first category, the first D, is dynamic. They're fluent, they're agile, they're willing to do whatever it takes to help the organization and the team move forward. The next level is a doer, somebody who comes in, does his or her job, nothing more, nothing less. They do a good job, and that's about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're doers. Then you have detractors. Those are the people that will try to pull the company back. They'll complain about the new change. They'll complain about the policy. Now, the easy thing to do is someone's between a detractor and a doer, or between a doer and a dynamic person. Make a list of your people and put down who they really are. What have they represented during this change? Then do the same thing and find out how you feel about them before the crisis, and you might be surprised. Here's the funny thing. If you look at some of the studies that are out there, like the Gallup organization, they do their workplace engagement study. They report only about 29-30% of their people are actively engaged. The rest are either neutrally or actively disengaged. So when you think about your team, you're probably not going to have all dynamic people. You're certainly not going to have everybody be a detractor. You're probably going to have varying percentages in each one of those categories. So here's the challenge. When you make out your list, think about that for a second and think about what you need to do as a leader to get your people to move towards or into the category of being dynamic. Now, why do you do this? Do not underestimate the power of a detractor. See, a detractor really looks for the fourth level. They look for disciples, people who can complain and fight change. Isn't it amazing during this time we could even have people like that? So look at your team. Think about how many people are really dynamic. How many people call you, come into your office and say, what else can I do? Now, that is not a criticism of people who are not dynamic. Now, typically, most people will say, I have doers. So you have to ask yourself, is what they're doing maintaining or pushing the company forward? So I love to categorize things and get people thinking about what they need to do to move people up the scale. So if the top scale is dynamic, and you've got 50%, let's say, as doers, 30% as detractors, and 20% as dynamic, keep that as a metric going forward and really think about what you need to do to move those people up the scale. You will never have 100% dynamic. It will be rare. And if you do, they'll probably get promoted or move on from the organization. So think about what you need to do. What are the activities? What's that path you're going to create? Every one of us, I guarantee you, have a detractor. Typically, detractors aren't public, but they are privately detracting. They will pull people back. They will look for disciples. See, it's easier for some people, to be in the bleachers and complain about the players on the field. Then you'll have doers. Doers are great people, yet sometimes they don't think beyond doing. So how are you going to get them to look at opportunities to go above and beyond the call of duty? Now, here's the toughest one. It sounds backwards. You're dynamic people. What if you don't have any promotions for them? What if there's nowhere with current times to put them and promote them? Yet you don't want to lose that talent. The organization doesn't want to lose that talent. Those are going to require very specific conversations. So put some notes, put some thoughts about what I just shared. I'm going to put this out on LinkedIn. I want you to share what your thoughts are. Put down your percentages if you want, but really put down some of your thoughts. What do we need to do with detractors? What do we need to do with people who are, just doers, doing their job? And what do we need to do with those dynamic people? How do we retain and continue to develop them? Thanks for your time.